Welcome to the daily current affairs. Today we'll be covering current affairs of January 20 and 21. 21 was a Sunday, so there was very few current affairs, but we'll cover some important current affairs from January 20 and we'll do the full detailing and the static part of that. Okay. Finally, there is a news. The NGT probe into cruise operating in Bhopal Ramsar Wetland. So the topic here is wetlands. So we'll cover everything related to wetlands, the international convention, the Ramsar convention, the Ramsar sites, everything related to Ramsar will cover here, each and every topic. So the news is that the NGT will cover NGT also. The NGT has directed the CPCB and Madhya Pradesh Pollution Control Board to periodically monitor the activities of cruise vessel polluting the भोज wetland. भोज wetland कहाँ पे है? भोपाल में है. तो एक directive मिला है NGT से to monitor that particular wetland. Fine. So when we talk about wetlands, first of all we need to know what are wetlands and then what is the Ramsar Convention. See, wetlands, the convention uses a very broad definition of wetlands. It includes all lakes, rivers, underground aquifers, swamps, marshes, wet grasslands, peatlands, oases, estuaries, everything. Okay, coral reefs, mangroves, everything comes under the broad category of wetlands. Now, when we study about wetlands, we should know what is Ramsar Convention because it becomes an environment plus also a IR topic. So, Ramsar Convention basically is an intergovernmental agreement dedicated for the conservation of wetland ecosystems. Okay. Till now, there are 172 parties. We call it as contracting parties or the countries which are members of this convention. It was adopted in the Iranian city of Ramsar in 1971 and came into force in 1975. Okay. Now, every 3 years, these countries, or we call it as Conference of Contracting Parties, that is COP, the representatives of this COP, they will meet and they will decide regarding any resolutions or regarding any policies. Every 3 years. So you need to remember here it is 3 years. Now the members commit to the following this. They will work towards the wise use of their wetlands. They will also designate suitable wetlands for the list of wetlands of international importance, that is Ramsar list. See, Ramsar has a different list. In India we have lot of wetlands. But the members here means countries. Like for example, India, they will designate suitable wetlands, or they will they will tell to the Ramsar ki we need these wetlands to be under the list of Ramsar. Now, when it comes under this list, it becomes very important to conserve that wetland. Okay, and the countries will cooperate internationally on transboundary wetlands also. Transboundary wetlands means a wetland which is shared by two countries. Transboundaries, two or more countries. Basically, it is two countries. Okay, the shared wetlands. So Ramsar Convention also protects transboundary wetlands. Now we'll also discuss whether India has a transboundary Ramsar site or not. All these things we'll be discussing in this particular video. Okay, you should also remember the depository. That means all the laws and everything are taken care by the UNESCO, DG of UNESCO. Remember, the depository of Ramsar Convention is the DG of UNESCO. Okay, fine. Now, bodies established by the convention. What are the bodies? First is COP. Okay, this is convention's governing body. Everything will be decision, all the decisions will be taken in the COP, which happens to meet every 3 years. Okay, they can make changes, they can make amendments, everything. They will review the progress, everything they will do. Now there is also a standing committee. Now it is an intersessional executive body which represents the COP between its triennial meetings within the framework of the decisions made by the COP. Now see, they will meet every 3 years. So there has to be somebody which will take care of the work, everything. So the contracting parties that are members of the standing committee are elected by each meeting of the COP to serve for 3 years. There is also a scientific and technical review board, and there is also a secretariat. Now you need to remember the COP every 3 years because recently in current affairs, the COP 14 happened in 2022 at Wuhan, China. We'll cover all these things in our next slide. So secretariat, what the secretariat does, it carries out day-to-day coordination of the convention's activities. जो convention अपना activities बताते हैं या फिर anything they talk. So the secretary has to in a way it will help in the day-to-day coordination. Now the secretariat like कहाँ पे है? Where it is situated? It is situated at the headquarters of the IUCN, that is in Gland. कहाँ पे है, स्विट्जरलैंड पे है, एंड ग्लैंड इज नथिंग बट द हेडक्वार्टर ऑफ IUCN. नाउ IUCN क्या है, इट इज़ अ NGO, it is an international NGO, very reputed NGO, which IUCN will be covering in some other current affair classes, because we can't cover here, it will take a lot of time. So IUCN happened to be in 1949, and it gives the conservation status like endangered species or critically endangered, vulnerable, all those things. It is given by that list is given by IUCN. It is that list is reviewed every 5 years, remember, not mandatory, but generally it is reviewed every 5 years. We'll cover IUCN in some other current affair class. Now the implementation of the Ramsar Convention is a continuing partnership between the Conference of Contracting Parties, that is COP, the Standing Committee, the Secretariat, and this. They all together work. Okay, and also they get the support of other international partners. For example, like BirdLife International. BirdLife International is another NGO who talks about birds. It also partners with IUCN and several other important international organizations. Now, World Wetlands Day is February 2. Remember, because this is the day when the convention was adopted, 2nd February 1971. Now, it was established to raise the awareness about the value of wetlands for humanity and planet. Now, it was celebrated for the first time. See, it was celebrated for the first time in 1977, not initially in 1971. Remember, it was celebrated, starting time was 1997 and has grown since then. Okay. Now, implementation. Despite its quasi-universal application, the domestic response to this treaty is often half-hearted and inadequate. For example, Germany joined the convention in 1976 and has to date failed to give effect to the Ramsar Convention in the matter set out by the Constitution of Germany. It means, like, yes, once you sign this treaty, you have to follow. At least you have to bring some policies. But Germany has not, like, it has failed. Okay, so the response has been not that good when we talk about some countries, for example, Germany. Now, when we study about Ramsar, we will also cover one more thing, that is the Montreux record, which is a part of Ramsar Convention only. Now, what is Montreux record? See, it is nothing but a register of some wetland sites on the list of Ramsar. Ramsar wetlands has lot of sites across the world. So out of that, a special list, that is the Montreux record, where changes in ecological character have occurred, are occurring, or likely to occur as a result of technological developments, pollution, or other human interference. So they are creating another list, that is Montreux record, where they feel कि any kind of changes in ecological character, maybe a climate change, maybe anything, as a result of technological advancement also, because we need to also advance in technology, industrialization, everything. So because of that, if any wetland is threatened, so they will put it into the Ramsar, into the Montreux record, so that a more conservation can be taken. Okay. It is a voluntary mechanism, first of all, to highlight specific wetlands of international importance that are facing immediate challenges. It is maintained as a part of list of Ramsar wetlands of international importance. So it was established. Now, when it was established in 1990 at the COP 4, because every 3 years it happens. So at COP 4 it was held. Montreux is a place in Switzerland. Now, it was established in 1990, but it was adopted by the COP in Brisbane in 1996. So established in 1990, adopted in 1996. Currently, how many sites are there? Overall, there are 48 sites across the world in the Montreux record. Out of India, it is Kaula National Park, Rajasthan, and Loktak Lake in Manipur. Initially, Chilika Lake was also there, but it was removed. It was removed. Now only 2 sites are there. Now, if somebody asks you which country has the maximum number of Montreux record sites, it is Greece, around 7. Okay, it is Greece. India has 2. I'm only talking about Montreux record sites. Okay, so Greece has the maximum number of Montreux record sites. Now, coming to designating Ramsar sites. Now, you have to remember here, it is very important for prelims. When a country accedes to the convention, it means when a country signs or ratifies the convention, it must means it becomes mandatory. It is mandatory for the country, for example India, to designate at least one wetland site as a wetland of international importance. That is Ramsar ke andar, at least you have to designate. It is up to the Ramsar COP to decide, but at least you have to designate one. information on this Ramsar site is sent to the documents. मतलब आप documents के साथ UNESCO भेजोगे, because UNESCO is the conventions depository as already discussed. Remember, UNESCO is the depository of this convention, very important. Okay, fine. So this is article in this convention. It is written, every contracting party shall designate suitable wetlands within its territory. Okay, okay. Now same article, another 2.2, the same convention, it says wetlands you are designating, it should be selected from the list on account of their international significance in terms of ecology, botany, zoology, limnology or hydrology. ये सब criteria, these are nothing but these are criterias, or based on these criterias you have to select, and these criterias are given by Ramsar only. This convention has given the criteria. We'll go through the criteria, no need to remember, but at least you should know the criterias. Okay, these are the criteria. Criteria for declaring Ramsar site. Sites containing representative rare or unique wetland types. Sites of international importance for conserving biological diversity based on species, based on water birds, based on fish, based on other taxa. So you just need to remember these words. These are enough. Okay, it's not like all the criteria are required. Either any one or more criteria is enough. It's difficult to fit into all the criteria, but if any criteria is satisfying, then it is the COP who will take the decision. But the country has to designate based on these criteria. Okay. For example, a wetland should be considered internationally important. It means it should come under Ramsar if it regularly supports 20,000 or more water birds. If it regularly supports 1% of the individuals in a population of one species or subspecies of water bird. Same for some fish. Other taxa also supports 1% of the individuals in a population of one species of wetland dependent non-avian animal species. So these are the keywords which you need to remember. Okay, now some factual data here. The largest sites are Rio Negro in Brazil, Nigri, Tumba, Mendom in Congo, and in Canada that is Queen Maud Gulf. These are the largest sites. India, we do not have largest. All over the world we do not have largest. Now though, if they will ask you the countries with the most number of sites, that is Ramsar sites, it is UK. UK has the most number of Ramsar sites. Second is Mexico. Okay, but if someone asks you which is the largest area, that is Bolivia. Number is UK, but area wise it is Bolivia. Now recently 75 Ramsar sites happened in our 75th year of independence. Total we have now 75 in India. We have 75 Ramsar sites. Recently 11 were more added, including 11 it was 75. So these are the recent Ramsar sites, very recent. Okay, in current affairs it's mentioned. You have to remember the name and the state. So in Odisha we have Tampara Lake, Hirakud Reservoir, very famous, Ansupa Lake. Madhya Pradesh we have Yashwant Sagar. Tamil Nadu we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Chitrakundi Bird Sanctuary, Suchidram Therur Wetland Complex, Vaduvur Bird Sanctuary, and Kanjirankulam Bird Sanctuary. These names you have to remember. Okay. Maharashtra we have one, Thane Creek, and in Jammu Kashmir it is Shalbag Wetland Conservation Reserve and Haigam Wetland Conservation Reserve. These are the names you have to remember. If any match the following question comes, then it becomes easy. Okay. So the highest was this time it is this four, that is Tamil Nadu. Okay. Third is 3 sites from Odisha. Okay. Now some extra information. So here we have 75 Ramsar sites. Okay, we have 75 Ramsar sites, but here if you see, inland wetlands are the highest, 49. Human made are 36. Marine or coastal lands are 14. So they may ask you in prelims, like in a statement format, the marine or coastal wetlands are the highest, or the human made wetlands has the highest number out of the 75. No, it is inland. So you can check here, inland wetlands are 49, human made are 36, marine or coastal are 14. Okay, remember one thing, we do not have transboundary wetlands as of now. We do not have transboundary wetlands. Remember this, no transboundary wetlands. or Ramsar sites. Wetlands are there, but we do not have Ramsar sites. Remember, transboundary and Ramsar sites in India as of now. Now, if somebody asks you, now we're talking about transboundary, so let us see which is the highest or the biggest or the largest transboundary Ramsar site. It is the Congo Basin, which is one of the largest freshwater bodies and is now home to the largest transboundary site. Okay, it is the largest transboundary Ramsar site. It is Congo Basin in Africa. So what are transboundary sites? These are created when two or more parties to the convention, two or more, remember, two or more, they cooperate across international boundaries to protect shared wetland areas. They will protect, they will share. If a wetland is getting shared between two countries, so they will protect, both of them will protect. But India do not have any transboundary Ramsar sites as of now. Okay, fine. So these informations are not required. So here one information you need to know. While there are 20 transboundary Ramsar sites worldwide, the first African transboundary Ramsar site was established in 2008 when Gambia and Senegal, two countries, African countries, they decided on integrated transboundary management plan for Senegal's Delta du Saloum, एक नेम है, and Gambia's Niumi National पर ये दोनों नाम है. Okay. It was also the first transboundary Ramsar site outside Europe. Previously it was there, but outside Europe it is the first one. Okay, fine. Now let us connect some topics. If they ask you if any site which is also a biosphere reserve, which is obviously designated by UNESCO, biosphere reserve is a separate topic we have to cover in separate class. Now if they ask you any site, how many sites in India, they'll ask which is both a biosphere reserve and also a Ramsar site. Okay, if you check here, there are two sites which is both biosphere reserve and also Ramsar site. That is, one is Gulf of Mannar, here Gulf of Mannar Marine Biosphere Reserve. It is a biosphere reserve and also a Ramsar wetland. Also Sundarban wetland. It is also a UNESCO biosphere reserve and also a Ramsar wetland. Okay. Now coming to World Heritage Site. Now World Heritage Site is also a separate topic. So I would request you to go through Biosphere Reserve separately and World Heritage Site separately and wait for my video when the current affair comes. I'll surely add everything in the upcoming classes. So here you should know it is World Heritage Site. One is Keoladeo National Park in Rajasthan, which is also in Montreux record. So it is under Montreux record. Okay, obviously it is under Ramsar site. It is also a World Heritage Site. Now similarly another one, Sundarban. So Sundarban is a World Heritage Site. It is also a Ramsar site. It is also a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. Three things. Okay. So you can go through Sundarban also. It's always in news. You can go through Sundarban. For example, you can mention in the comment box how much percentage of Sundarban is in India and how much percentage is in Bangladesh. Which has more? Mention in the comment box. Okay. Now coming to current affairs. Recent news, that is in November 2022, very recent, 2 months back. So as I said, every 3 years COP will happen, right? So recently the 14th meeting, that is the 14th COP took place in Wuhan, China. Okay, they all met. So the opening ceremony and the high level segment was hybrid modality, was in a hybrid modality with participation of invited representatives both in Wuhan and also in Geneva, linked via video. Negotiations and all other aspects of COP14 in person took place in Geneva, but the meeting was in Wuhan. But yes, some video conference were also there. It happened to be in Geneva also. Now the declaration, when everybody will come and they will talk something, so finally they'll give a document, right? The document name is called Wuhan Declaration. So Wuhan Declaration, if the question comes, it is related to Ramsar Convention. Okay, COP 14 2022. So the declaration calls for a strong political will and practical outcomes to promote the conservation, restoration, management and wise and sustainable use of wetlands. It also commits additional resources for the improved implementation of the Ramsar Convention strategic plan. It also calls for an increase in the impact oriented actions until 2030. See, these are the things every 3 years they will talk. They will talk, you have to do this, we have to bring more impact, and all these things they will talk. Okay. Now, according to the second global wetland outlook, now this is a magazine or this is a kind of a they will publish. It is done by Ramsar. So this is the second one. Okay. In 2021, it is the second one released. According to it, wetlands are especially vulnerable to sea level increase. Coral bleaching होता है, sea level increase हो रहा है, hydrology change हो रहा है. So they are very vulnerable to all these events. So they are critical for achieving global commitments related to climate change and sustainable development. Wuhan Declaration also seeks to address this issue. They are telling we should also address all these issues. Now, the Wuhan Declaration, that is COP14, it closes with 21 resolutions adopted to advance wetlands action for people and nature. So these are the things they discussed, all these things we discussed now. Wuhan Declaration, simply remember the name and remember the theme. The theme was wetland action for people and nature. See, sometimes themes are also asked. 2 to 3 years back, some theme was asked regarding some other convention. So you should also remember the convention. This is important for prelims. This name is important for prelims. Okay, these all are not required. These are very normal statements which are mentioned. Now they also told you will integrate wetland conservation into sustainable development practices. It means they are integrating wetland conservation to climate change. Okay, they are telling we'll integrate everything, wetlands with water, food security, hydrological thing, climate regulation, everything. So they are integrating with UNFCCC. This is a separate convention. UNCBD, this is a separate convention. Everything you have to cover in detail because these are all parts of environment static. Okay. Fine. Now they also tell we need to have proper multilateral collaboration. We need to collaborate with other conventions, for example like biodiversity convention, like CCD convention, that is convention to combat desertification. All these things, UNFCCC convention, these three conventions are very important. You have to cover in detail. Now when the news comes, I'll be covering it. Okay, fine. Land degradation neutrality, this is related to CCD, global biodiversity framework post 2020. It is related to biodiversity. Even decade on ecosystem restoration, these are all related. These are all related topics. You have to cover each and everything in detail. You have to cover each and everything in detail. Okay, for prelims questions can be asked from anywhere. Okay, so you have to be very careful. Now they're saying a call to connect with youth. They want to connect with the youth. Okay, so that youth will engage more in wetlands. They are also strengthening scientific and technical aspects of the convention. No need to read this. These are very normal things. Just remember global wetland outlook is given by this. Okay. One thing you have to remember for prelims is this. Okay. That is, they also in this Wuhan declaration, they told that we have to establish, like it is a proposal. We will establish a new international mangrove center. Will be considered at the next meeting of standing committee. When the standing committee next meets, they will they'll be discussing about a new international mangrove center. But the proposal came in COP14 Wuhan, remember, to conserve mangroves across the world. Okay, so a regional initiative, that is a Ramsar regional initiative for mangroves, and setting out a new triennium. Normal thing, these are normal things, just you need to remember this. And the Secretary General is Masunda Mumba. Remember the name. For state exams they may ask, but not required for prelims UPSC. Okay, second thing is, okay, wetland city accreditation. It is also a part of Ramsar. What they do is they'll do the accreditation to some cities who safeguard urban wetlands for people. They will just recognize. So in 2022 in COP14 Wuhan, they recognized 25 cities for their efforts to safeguard urban wetlands. Now the question is whether any city from India was there, whether they did any kind of accreditation, wetland city accreditation as per 2022 COP14. In the COP14, no sites from India. Now this point is a prelims point. They may tell you ki the new sites, they'll take some names of some new Ramsar sites. See, Ramsar sites are okay, but when it comes to wetland city accreditation, no sites from India. See, here you'll see there is no site from India. Okay. Fine. Next comes another program of uh, Ramsar Convention, that is the CEPA program. The program name is the Convention on Wetlands Program on Communication, Capacity Building, Education, Participation, Awareness. From the words you know what this convention does. This is nothing but a program. You just need to know this program. They simply ask you this program, CEPA. In short form they may ask. It is related to Ramsar, one thing. Now when it came in COP 12 2015. Just remember COP 12 2015, the Convention on Wetlands Program on Communication, Capacity Building, Education, Participation and Awareness, that is CEPA. Okay. See, there is another CEPA also related to IR, that is Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. Don't confuse with that. That is a separate thing. That is related to some economy agreement kind of comprehensive. Can you anyone knows it? So mention in the comment box. CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, is what? Okay, that is also relevant for prelims. Next is one mission name. This is very important for prelims. Why? Because it is in news. It is from India side, or India's initiative, one of the initiative related to Wetland Convention. Now we are reading about wetland. You need to know each and everything, at least from the world side and from the India side. That is Mission Sahbhagita. They'll simply ask Mission Sahbhagita is related to what? Now the news was in 27th May 2022. Ministry of Environment organized a national workshop for developing a roadmap for participatory conservation and wise use of wetlands. The participatory conservation, like सब community मिलके conserve करेंगे and to use the wetlands very wisely. So you just need to know the name Sahbhagita. Simply they will ask Sahbhagita related to what, and they'll put some options which will they'll try to put you in trap. Sahbhagita, it is simply related to wetlands conservation. Okay, it's a national workshop and it was attended by many people, and it was held under the GEF UNEP MOEFCC funded and integrated management for wetlands diversity. GEF is Global Environment Facility, UNEP is United Nations Environment Program, MOEFCC is Ministry of Environment. Global Environment Facility I have already discussed in previous current affair classes. In 2 to 3 classes I have already explained. You can go through the classes, you can come to know. It is nothing but a financial mechanism started on the eve of Rio Summit, 1992 by World Bank, but now it is independent. Now it is independent, but World Bank is a trustee. Now financial mechanism means it will give like finance to some conventions like UNFCCC, UNCBD, UNCCD, Minamata Convention related to mercury, and Stockholm Convention. You have to go through all these conventions in detail, because any projects under this, the funding will be done by GEF. That is what GEF does. It is an independent financial mechanism. Remember, it is an independent. It started by WB, that is World Bank, but now it is an independent financial mechanism. Okay. So there was a previous year question also related to Ramsar 2019, very recent. Now it says under the Ramsar Convention, it is mandatory on the part of the government of India to protect and conserve all the wetlands. It is not mandatory, first of all. You have to protect, but there is nothing called mandatory in the convention. It is not mandatory. India will have its own laws and own rules. Now India has a conservation rule. The wetlands conservation rules were framed by Government of India based on the recommendations of the Ramsar. See, no, there is no recommendation from Ramsar Convention ki please do it. The convention says you have to do it, or you like, because you are doing you are signing the agreement, so please do it. Now these rules, like what rules, they are not explicitly recommended by the convention. So this is wrong. Wetland, so 1 is wrong, 2 is wrong. The Wetlands Conservation Management Rules also encompasses the drainage area or catchment regions of the wetlands as determined by the, obviously it will include the drainage area also, it will include the catchment area also. So this is correct. So third is correct. Now comes a question to, if in 2019 they are asking about 10 wetlands Wetlands Conservation Management Rules 2017, it has replaced the 2020. Okay, so you should know this is also in news, and this is our recent wetland management rules going on. Okay, now these wetland management rules now the question is, the wetland management rules are invoked from which act, or invoked through which act? What is the act name? It is Environment Protection Act of 1986, remember. Okay, fine. So it has notified the Ministry of Environment. Now what are the main points of these rules? First is there has to be establishment of a state wetlands authority. Now every state, in each state or union territory, there will be a state wetland authority. Who will head? The state environment minister will head, state environment minister will head, and will include a number of range of government officials. State government will nominate one expert, each in fields of wetland ecology, hydrology, fisheries, landscape planning, socio-economics. वहाँ से एक expert will be nominated by the state government. और क्या है? Digital inventory रहेगा all wetlands का. It is mandatory as per this rule. Every state has to prepare a list of all wetlands and list of wetlands to be notified within 6 months. ये inventory पे रहेगा, ये mandatory है. Based on it, a comprehensive digital inventory of all wetlands will be created and will be updated every 10 years. हर 10 साल में वो update होगा. ओके, तो ये हो गया दोनों स्टेट लेवल पे. These two are state level. Okay, this is also state level because state authorities have to do. Now comes a national wetland committee जो कि national level पे है. It stipulates for setting up of national wetlands committee. Head कौन करेगा? इधर the environment ministry will not head. It is the secretary of ministry जो bureaucrat है, जो secretary to the environment ministry, वो head करेंगे to monitor implementation of these rules and oversee work carried out by the states. ये सिंपली मॉनिटर करेंगे कि जो वेट स्टेट्स में काम दिया गया है, दे आर डूइंग इट और नॉट, दे विल मॉनिटर. दिस इज द कीवर्ड, मॉनिटर द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. इट विल ऑल्सो एडवाइस, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को भी एडवाइस करेंगे कि कुछ अप्रोप्रिएट पॉलिसी लेके आइए या फिर कुछ एक्शन प्रोग्राम कीजिए फॉर कंजर्वेशन ऑफ वेटलैंड्स. कुछ प्रोहिबिटेड एक्टिविटीज़ है एज पर द रूल. दीज एक्टिविटीज़ आर प्रोहिबिटेड इन द वेटलैंड्स. These are all other activities you can go through it. Waste dumping, expansion of industries, normal चीज़ है. Discharge of untreated waste, all these things are prohibited. Okay, fine. So we are done with wetlands now. Because the news was also related to NGT, so we'll cover NGT also. NGT is nothing but National Green Tribunal, statutory body है, 2010 से आया है. काम क्या करता है? Environmental cases. It will adjudicate environmental cases. Simply they will adjudicate environmental cases, or the tribunal shall not be bound by the procedure laid down under the code of civil procedure but shall be guided by the principles of natural justice. तो ये principles of natural justice सही चलेगा. चेयरमैन भी रहेगा. And just mention in the comment box how many, what is the maximum number of members, maximum number of members in the NGT. It will see the chairman and all members will be selected by the central government. But what is the maximum? Mention in comment box. Okay, NGT has the power to hear all civil cases relating to environmental issues. But remember, these are the cases which it can handle. Water Act 1974, Water Cess Act 1977, Forest Conservation Act 1980, FCA बोलते हैं इसको, Air Act 1981, Environment Protection Act 1986, Biodiversity Act 2002, Public Liability Insurance Act 1999. For exam point of view, this is very important. Detailing, this is very important, and some aspects of this very important. These three you have to cover in your environment static. Each and every detail, not 3 to 4 provisions. Questions are asked very deep. You can check the previous year questions, you'll come to know. But Just remember, Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 is not covered under NGT. NGT has not been vested powers to hear any matter related to Wildlife Protection Act. Okay. And NGT का जो order है एक appeal mechanism है, it is challenged before the Supreme Court within 90 days. All these things are mentioned in the NGT Act of 2010. Now the question comes, there is a tribunal. Okay, ट्राइब्यूनल का जो अपील है कहाँ जाता है? इट कैन बी सुप्रीम कोर्ट, इट कैन बी हाई कोर्ट, बेस्ड ऑन द ट्राइब्यूनल के लॉ पे क्या लिखा है. इट इज़ बेस्ड ऑन द लॉ. फॉर एग्जाम्पल एनजीटी एक्ट लिखा है सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाएगा, सो it will go to Supreme Court. Simple. There are other tribunals from acts where it can go to High Court also, but here it is mentioned explicitly it will go to Supreme Court, so it will go to Supreme Court within 90 days. Coming to next topic, in news, 12 more cheetahs to arrive in Madhya Pradesh, KUNO PALPUR National Park. KUNO PALPUR National Park is in Madhya Pradesh. It was asked already, it is a previous year question also, it's already asked. So we'll know about cheetahs. 12 cheetahs from South Africa may arrive in February. 7 male and 5 female cheetahs are currently in quarantine enclosures in KwaZulu-Natal, that is in South Africa, and Limpopo district of South Africa. No need to remember this, just remember South Africa से आ रहे हैं. So cheetah क्या है? Cheetah belongs to the this is the genus ACI-NON-YX. IUCN vulnerable है, and it is protected under Schedule 1. It is protected in Appendix 1. Sites, so here आपको sites पढ़ना है. International trade in endangered species of wild flora. So one self study you have to do is sites. Just remember sites कहाँ से आया था and recent sites का कॉप कहाँ पे हुआ है. I'll cover this in future classes, but because here if we start expanding the topics, काफ़ी सारे topics हो जाएंगे, it will take 3 to 4 hours बन जाएगा फिर. So I'll be covering this, nothing to worry. But before that you try to search on internet and check what is sites, कहाँ से हुआ है और क्या exactly करता है. Cheetah got extinct in India in 1952 until they are recently reintroduced. कहाँ पे हुआ था? कूनो पालपुर नेशनल पार्क इन मध्य प्रदेश फ्रॉम नामीबिया से हुआ था. अभी साउथ अफ्रीका से भी हो रहा है. ओके, एंड कूनो पालपुर इज इन मध्य प्रदेश, रिमेंबर. So this was the news. PM releases wild cheetahs which had become extinct from India in Kuno Palpur National Park, and this is all are part of the cheetah rehabilitation project. Okay. So cheetahs brought from Namibia are being introduced in India under the Project Cheetah, which is world's first intercontinental large wild carnivore translocation. We are locating from one area to the other area. Okay, fine. So this is the cheetah reintroduction project. It was launched in the 19th meeting of the NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority. Now here you have to know about what is NTCA, when it came. NTCA came in the Wildlife Protection Act Amendment of 2006. I'll cover, when I cover tiger, I'll cover each and everything. Wildlife Protection Act, NTCA, everything I'll be covering. Okay. There is a difference between Asiatic cheetah and African cheetah. African cheetah and Asiatic cheetah. So Asiatic cheetah IUCN status क्या है? Critically endangered. Sites दोनों का Appendix 1 में है. Appendix 1 very it means they're threatened. इसलिए Appendix 1 में. So you have to cover the sites. And this is the distribution, not as much required. Physical characteristics also एक दो लाइन आप पढ़ सकते हो, ज़्यादा important नहीं है. Okay. Coming to the next topic, it's about EPCG scheme relaxed for sectors affected by COVID-19. Now the thing is, question last about EPCG scheme. ये क्या है? It is nothing but Export Promotion Capital Goods Scheme. Simply you have to remember ये scheme क्या है. Export Promotion Capital Goods Scheme. कुछ सेक्टर के लिए ये स्कीम रिलैक्स हुआ है. अब क्या हुआ है अभी हम इसको विल सी. EPCG scheme launched by Ministry of Commerce. First of all, कब हुआ था? 1990s में हुआ था, बट अभी भी न्यूज़ में है. So it is relevant to facilitate import of capital goods with the aim to enhance the production quality of goods and services, thereby increasing India's international manufacturing competitiveness. Okay, तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है? Manufacturers can import capital goods for pre-production, production, post-production without attracting any custom duty on them. इस स्कीम के अंदर में without attracting any custom duty they can import capital goods for pre-production, production and post-production. Second hand capital goods may also be imported without any restriction on age under the scheme. The exemption from paying the obligation of customs duty on the import of capital goods is subject to fulfillment of an export value equivalent to 6 times of duty saved on the importation of such capital goods within 6 years. It means a condition hai, there is a condition. Okay, the facility to pay customs duty through scrips, ये एक स्कीम है, मर्चेंडाइज एक्सपोर्ट्स फ्रॉम इंडिया, MEIs. नाउ दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट, यू हैव टू नो ये क्या है, ये स्कीम क्या करता है. ओके, सो ये स्कीम विल कवर हियर. नाउ ड्यूटी क्रेडिट स्क्रिप्ट क्या है? द स्कीम वॉज इंट्रोड्यूस इन द फॉरेन ट्रेड पॉलिसी 2015 एंड 20. अभी 2021 से 25 का FTP चल रहा है. यू कैन कवर दिस 2020 to 2025 अभी फॉरेन ट्रेड पॉलिसी. Now MEES is notified by the Director General of Foreign Trade, DGFT. DGFT already covered in the recent current affairs. Two days or 3 days back I have covered DGFT. Now ये जो स्कीम्स को सब रिप्लेस किया है MEIS सॉरी. क्या करता है? टू ऑफसेट द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चरल इनएफिशिएंसी एंड एसोसिएटेड कॉस्ट्स involved in export of goods and products which are produced or manufactured in India, especially those having high export intensity, employment potential and thereby enhancing export competitiveness. Basically इंडिया का export competitiveness बढ़ाने के लिए this scheme is there. ठीक है, जो उनका इनएफिशिएंसी रहता है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चरल इनएफिशिएंसी या फिर कॉस्ट को लेके, तो इट विल हेल्प. ठीक है, बेसिकली एक स्कीम है. सो द रिवॉर्ड्स आर गिवन बाय वे ऑफ ड्यूटी क्रेडिट स्क्रिप्स. किसको दिया जाता है? एक्सपोर्टर्स को दिया जाता है. अब ये स्क्रिप्स है क्या है? इट इज़ एन इंसेंटिव स्कीम विच इज़ एन एक्सपोर्ट प्रमोशन बेनिफिट. कौन देता है? गवर्नमेंट देता है, ऑफर्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट अंडर द फॉरेन ट्रेड पॉलिसी 2015-2020. अंडर दिस फॉरेन ट्रेड पॉलिसी these schemes intends to incentivize exports of goods manufactured in India or produced in India or exported from India. Basically kind of a credit दिया जाता है, incentive दिया जाता है if you are producing, you are manufacturing in India और export कर रहे हो. Basically export competitiveness को increase करने के लिए ये scheme है, introduced in 2015-2020 foreign trade policy notified by DGFT. Okay. Next is KVIC chairman releases margin money subsidy to 5,046 beneficiaries under PM-EGP at Hubli. So इधर अगर कोई important चीज़ है तो वो है KVIC. KVIC जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है. PM Employment Guarantee Program you can check, not that much important but we'll cover it. Khadi and Village Industries Commission 1956 से आया है, statutory body है. KVIC Act, KVIC Act of 1956 किस मिनिस्ट्री के अंडर आता है? मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ MSME. रिमेंबर, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ माइक्रो स्मॉल एंड मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेस. ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? सोशल ऑब्जेक्टिव है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट करेगा रूरल एरियाज में. इकोनॉमिक ऑब्जेक्टिव है, सेलेबल आर्टिकल्स प्रोवाइड करेगा. वाइडर ऑब्जेक्टिव एक सेल्फ रिलायंस अमंग द पीपल लाएगा टू बिल्ड अप ए स्ट्रॉन्ग रूरल कम्युनिटी स्पिरिट. So this KVC is charged with planning, promotion, organization, implementation of programs for development of khadi and other village industries. Basically khadi and other village industries को बढ़ाने के लिए रूरल एरियाज में एक कमीशन है. ठीक है, प्रोवाइड फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस टू इंस्टीट्यूशंस. Even they are authorized, KVC is authorized to establish and maintain separate organizations for the purpose of carrying out any of the above matters. Encourage करेगा, रिसर्च प्रोडक्शन में करेगा, टेक्निक्स, इक्विपमेंट, एवरीथिंग. Okay. Now coming to personalities in news. Here personalities in news में two personalities I have included because birth anniversary है, death anniversary है. तेज बहादुर सप्रू का डेथ एनिवर्सरी है 20 में. इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री. वी कवर दिस इन मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री. Now he was a great nationalist and a lawyer. He was a key figure in India's struggle for independence, played a prominent role in drafting of Indian constitution. He played a very important role. तो ये कौन थे? ही वॉज बॉर्न इन कश्मीरी फैमिली. ये सब ज़रूरी नहीं है, बट जो ज़रूरी है वो ये है कि ही वॉज फर्स्ट मेंबर ऑफ द INC. तो पहले ये INC का मेंबर थे, इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस का. स्वराज को भी ही एडवोकेटेड, बट ही वॉज नॉट इन फेवर ऑफ अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मीन्स टू अचीव इट. सो ही वॉज इन फॉर ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मीन्स. Okay, constitutional means through talking or through arbitration, through dialogue or through the legislative assemblies, like petitions deke, he was a constitutional person. He wanted constitutional means. So he left Congress and founded in 1900, it is 1919, Liberal Party along with M.R. Jayakar. 1919 mein he founded Liberal Party. When we talk about Sapru, also we talk about M.R. Jayakar because these two were liberals. There are other liberals also. These two are called as liberals because they believed in dialogue. बात करके problem solve करेंगे. We believe in dialogue. So they founded Liberal Party or National Liberal Party. Mediation, dialogue or mediation, everything. These are words you can use. He mediated between various factions, tried to solve deadlocks. He mediated between Mahatma Gandhi and Irwin and facilitated the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Very remember Gandhi-Irwin Pact of 1931. He was the one, he and also Jayakar, remember, both of them mediated between Gandhi and Lord Irwin. So this is a static topic, Gandhi-Irwin Pact, which we cover in from our books. He became a member of the प्राइवी काउंसिल इन 1934, जो कोर्ट था प्राइवी काउंसिल ब्रिटिश का, उनका भी मेंबर था. ही रिप्रेजेंट द लिबरल पार्टी. राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस हुआ था, 3 राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस हुआ था, उनमें से जो लिबरल पार्टी गया था तो उनका रिप्रेजेंटेशन ही वाज देयर, तेज बहादुर सप्रू. As a lawyer, he fought cases like the Meerut conspiracy case and he defended the rebel soldiers of the Indian National Army. Meerut conspiracy case very important for exam. Last year also one conspiracy case. You have to go through all the conspiracy cases. Meerut conspiracy case, Lahore conspiracy case, Kanpur conspiracy case. Lot of conspiracy cases are there. Okay. Now next is death anniversary of Khan Abdul Gaffar Khan. Very important personality. So he was the leader of the Pashtuns. Pashtuns कौन था? एक ethnic group, एक Muslim ethnic group of Pakistan and Afghanistan. He was a big follower of Mahatma Gandhi, so he is called as Frontier Gandhi. He met Gandhi and entered politics in 1919 during agitation over Rowlatt Act. Rowlatt Act जब हुआ था 1919 में agitation हुआ था, तो वो उसी वक्त he met and he entered the politics, which allowed the confinement of political dissidents without trial. He joined Khilafat movement also, which sought to strengthen the spiritual ties of Indian Muslims into Turkish Sultan. Khilafat movement related to this. So he also participated in Khilafat movement. In 1921, he was elected the president of the district Khilafat committee in his native. He was famous in the northwest frontier province. तो वहाँ पे जो local और district Khilafat committee था, he was the president. Soon after attending the INC Congress gathering in 1929, he founded the Red Shirt movement. इसको हम बोलते हैं खुदाई खिदमतगर और खिदमतगर्स. ओके, अमंग द पश्तून्स, रेड शर्ट मूवमेंट. विल डिस्कस दिस, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. फिर उनको भारत रत्न अवार्ड भी मिला था. ओके, ही वाज द फर्स्ट नॉन इंडियन टू रिसीव दिस ऑनर बिकॉज ही वाज फ्रॉम दैट साइड. ओके, so he got the Bharat Ratna prize in 1987, much longer time after our independence. So he was the first non-Indian to receive Bharat Ratna. So खुदाई खिदमतगर्स मूवमेंट क्या है? First of all, keywords non-violent. It was a non-violent because he was a Gandhian, right? He was follower of Gandhi, so non-violent against the British occupation of Indian subcontinent. It was led by this person, Abdul Gaffar Khan, in the northwest frontier province. But aista this movement over time it turned political, leading to the British taking notice of its growing prominence in the region. Following the arrest of Khan and other leaders in 1929, the Muslim formally joined the Indian National Congress after they failed to receive support from the All India Muslim League. Okay, so क्या हुआ क्या है? Members of the खुदाई खिदमतगर were organized and men stood out because of the bright red shirts they wore as uniform. इसीलिए this is called red shirt movement. Okay, this is called red shirt movement. So bright red shirt पहन के as they in a way they stood out, and while the women wore black garments. Khudai Khidmatgar opposed partition. They did not wanted partition. They opposed partition, a stance that many interpreted as the movement not being in favor of the creation of independent nation of Pakistan. They were not in favor of an independent nation to be created, that is Pakistan. So following the arrest of their leaders, protest spilled into the Kissa Khwani Bazaar incident. Remember, this is पेशावर पे. इसी वक्त क्या हुआ था? इसी वक्त गफर खान वॉज अरेस्टेड. ही वॉज अरेस्टेड. तो जब अरेस्ट हुआ तब उनके जो फॉलोअर्स थे, दे स्टार्टेड प्रोटेस्टिंग इन दिस बाजार दैट इज कॉल्ड किस्सा खानी बाजार. Simply they in the question they can ask, this incident is related to which of the following events or which of the following part, it is related to this movement. Okay, so ब्रिटिश सोल्जर्स एंटर द मार्केट और यहाँ पे मैसेकर किया था. रिमेंबर कोसा खानी मैसेकर इंसिडेंट इन 1931. रिमेंबर बहुत सारे प्रोटेस्ट मारे गए थे, किलिंग सेवरल प्रोटेस्टर्स एंड बाईस्टैंडर्स. Okay, so that's it for today. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.